talking about that, the brand. I mean, quintessentially, I know a lot of quintessentially members, and they're very proud to have at the front of their wallet the quintessentially logo and card. What's key to building a brand, whatever that is? What would you sort of, if you had to sort of give one or two golden rules on building a brand? How do you do it?
Absolutely, you have to treat it as though it's a human being. I always think the brand is a person, and it has certain values. And with quintessentially, it's unique, bespoke, savvy, has great intelligence, that type of thing. So it's obviously not talking about myself, but this other person. But if you can then treat that brand with due respect, because obviously if you start to abuse the brand, it goes off the rails, and it starts to damage your core business. And so I think when you look at brands, you have an immediate association with that brand, and that brand embodies what that company's, essence is about. So, it isn't, marketing speak and nonsense to think of, 5 or 6 real core essences or elements that really drive that brand. That's the first thing. Once you've established that, then everything else falls away from it. So you can take bits of that brand and apply it to different industries. And so each of the companies that we've done, say Quintessentially Aviation, for instance, which looks after our private jet charter and purchasing and resale, the core essence is that we're looking for very high-touch personal service, but it's savvy as well. It's not just about, what's the hot thing around the corner. It's actually saying, look, this is an exciting product that's coming down the tube, but actually the one currently on the market is even better. And making sure that the choices that our clients make are the right ones for them. And a lot of companies grow to huge sizes, and they go, right, well, customers aren't important to us really. At the end of the day, we can make them press 1, press 2, press 3, all that type of stuff. We'll never go there. We'll never have that sort of mentality. I want the phone answered within 3 rings. I want your name to be treated with respect, and you as a client build our brand and have bought into our brand. So that's why we drive it forward on that basis.
Cool. So making sure that sort of the values are always evident in all touch points with the customer.
Absolutely.
So presumably you've got your partnerships out there in the emerging markets and globally would also have to reflect your...
Always, yeah. So we run, just from an appearance point of view, all our brand. My wife's actually the brand director.
So you can't say anything bad about branding.
No, I
You'll
can't.
be in real trouble.
So she gets, she gets sent everything for approval. So anything with our brand on it gets approved by her. And it's painful. I mean, I sit there and watch her change things and colour schemes and all that. I was like, oh, come on, prove it. It's okay. And we have very exciting Sunday lunches talking about it. And she's sending stuff back, going, no, change the tone, the colour palette, all of that. The appearance is extremely important, especially in luxury. Yeah. But then the substance it has to be about making sure that the service levels reach the highest point they possibly can. So you're always striving for perfection, because you never get there. Yeah. Service is, unfortunately, is not a perfect beast. Yeah.
Talking about branding, how do you, we've been in an economic downturn. It's not very cool, presumably, in a luxury brand to offer, 2-for-1 offers and things. But has the recession hit a company like yours, where it's going for high net worth individuals predominantly? And B, what's the art of building a brand in a downturn and recession? Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the recession, I think that we're still in it, really. I don't see us coming out of it for a little bit longer. But I think that in terms of our brand and who we look after, yes, of course it affected. I think it affected a lot of entry-level people. But actually what happened was we sold more product to the upper end of the market. So, our brand positioning has probably moved up a level. So that's been a benefit. It also opened our eyes to a lot of opportunities. So we're launching a whole series of financial services products to our clients, because they've all told us, because remember, we look after their lifestyles, they're all saying, I want to move banks, I want to do this, I want to do that. So we've seen that as an opportunity and said, right, okay, let's open our own brokerage for mortgages and insurance and financial services products. Yeah. So that's been something that's really opened our eyes to it. In terms of building the brand throughout this period, I think the old Smith's crisps versus Walker's crisps is a good example. I mean, Smith's Crisp was everywhere, right? And where are they now? And Walker's spent during the period of recession, and now they're, I don't know, I think it's like 70–80% market leader. So, you know, we don't have huge marketing budgets, and it would be inappropriate for us to spend huge money on, you know, Gary Lineker falling out of a tree. But, however, we did spend more money on events and key PR pieces and marketing to our core audience. And we also opened our foundation during this period, which, you know, we raise £1 million a year through, as people became more aware of, you know, entrepreneurship has to have some philanthropic element to it, and that people, you know, really don't want to. The age of bling is dead, and I think the new age is very much about more savvy ecotourism. And, you know, being aware of how one's perceived or spends one's money publicly. So that's here, though. In the East, where we're seeing a Russia 2 or a, you know, Dubai, Abu Dhabi 2, which is, you know, the Chinese, very consumptive and very aware of their consumption. Of a certain class of individuals. So that when I say class, I don't mean it in the classic British sense of class. I mean, I'm talking about an entrepreneur class that have made a huge amount of money and want to show their wealth, although there are other reasons they don't show it so much. And then the old established wealth in China. So you're seeing, you know, companies like Dunhill making all their money in China. And, you know, sales of Lamborghinis and Bentleys and Rolls Royces off the charts in these places because people need to show that they're successful. Yeah. But then Russia went through it and has calmed down a bit. We went through it. We went through it in the Industrial Revolution, and America's gone through it. Everybody goes through it.
Yeah.